Hi, it's Kiki. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited, but also I'm trying to do this in a rush because right now in Texas, we are about to have a big storm that has been talked about like nationwide. And that's about to happen here soon. So I'm trying to get all this done, this filming done before it happens and it starts raining and it starts ruining my audio. So hope for the best, expect the worst. What I'm doing in this video today is actually something really exciting. I am going to be announcing my first part of a series. I'm hoping it works out that I can do some more of it because views and likes and things like that, and people saying, like, commenting that they like this and they want to see more of me doing this, that'd be really great. But also if not, like, it's fine. I paid for this, and so I might just use it on the occasion. So the whole point of the series, hopefully, is I let a professional pick my books for the week. I seen a few YouTubers do this, and I always thought it was really cool, and I thought it was such a cool program, and I wanted to try it for myself. I signed up December, a little bit before Christmas hit, so yeah. I did have to pay for it. It is a subscription-based company, I guess you can say, that does this, but it is called, I have my handy dandy iPad here, it is called mytbr.co, and if that sounds familiar, then you probably have seen the same YouTube videos that I've seen. That is their little logo right there. They're pretty well known. I unfortunately don't know exactly how much it is, but I want to say it's like maybe like 50 bucks or something like that. And then 16 for every time you want to use them. It's really great because they take their time. You have to set up a profile. You have to let them know what you like, what you don't like. We're gonna go through all of it and hopefully get this done. But without further ado, I am actually getting mytbr.com or .co to pick my books for the week. So I went ahead and I went to my TBR profile. So they ask you, your first question is what your all-time favorite books are. I said My Best Friend's Exorcism, Barbarian Mind, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, House of Earth and Blood, a couple more, Lock Every Door, They Never Learn, Mexican Gothic, It Happened One Summer, Lilac, Hidden Pictures, The Love Hypothesis, a couple more. Then they said any books you absolutely hated. So you can start naming all the books you want to hate that you just 1 star, DNF, or you can just say the ones that you know are just kind of like for you. I said Promises and Pomegranates. I said Nettle and Bone, The Stranger, Circe, We Sold Our Souls, Not Your Average Hot Guy, From Blood and Ash. I know that's a little controversial. Lucky Leap Day, The Counselors, Book Lovers, also another controversial one, I'm sure, and Does It Hurt? So those are just a couple. The next one is what are a few of your favorite TV shows and movies? So they're kind of asking you kind of what other kind of media you enjoy. So I said Criminal Minds, IT Crowd, Parks and Rec, Schitt's Creek, New Girl, Fleabag, Great British Bake Off, and then of course with movies, I just named pretty much all my favorite movies. Then they ask if there's any type of content you would like your bibliologist, I think I'm saying that correctly, to warn about. So that's where you put any of like your triggers, anything that you really don't want to read about, you put it right here. I said no triggers. I'm usually pretty good. It's not until I'm reading it that I know if it is a trigger or not, so I just go ahead and say no triggers. But if you do, please put that in there. They're going to definitely pay attention to that. Type of content that are deal breakers for you. Will exclude books containing these, request to exclude books by or any specific marginalized communities, i.e. people of color, LGBTQ, etc., will not be honored. So pretty much what books or tropes you're not into, it's not fun for you. They do say that they will not honor anything that is saying like anti-LGBTQ, anything anti-people of color. That's just all they're saying. That's where you would put maybe some of the tropes that you're not a fan of or something. What is your preferred reading format? Print, ebook, audiobook, or braille? Of course, I just said I'm good in between of print, ebook, and audiobook. Then of course I go into your favorite genres. I go into my favorite genres, of course, which are right now it's romance, horror, mystery, and thriller. And then of course it's kind of, I don't know why, because it's kind of the same question as the first question they asked, which is what are your last few books that you really loved? And then of course I went ahead and just said some books that I absolutely loved. I think they want this one to be more of like more recent books that you've enjoyed, and doesn't have to be like your ultimate favorites. It can be just like books that you recently read and you're like, you enjoyed. It didn't have to be, it could be a 4-star, 3-star. Yeah, so. And then they ask you on a scale, not scale, but like on a little multiple choice thing of how should your bibliologist balance books that will fit your current style with picks that branch out. Keep it familiar, mostly familiar, but an occasional stretch is okay. Mix of familiar and stretch reads. Expand you know what I'm talking about. Your book horizons, of course, spice it up, which means you completely just want it to be something that is out of your comfort zone and you're feeling real ballsy. I don't know who that person is, but congratulations, you're a lot better than me, because I said mostly familiar, but an occasional stretch is okay. And that is about as far as I will ever go, to be honest, ever. And then I said, are you looking for recommendations on a certain theme? I said I was looking to get more into fantasy romance. So, and you'll see from the picks that they leaned heavily in that question. So when you put something in there, like understand that's probably where they're going to get most of their inspiration. So be very, very careful on what you put in there. I can't wait to show you guys what they have chose for me. So, and then anything else you want your bibliologist to know, just any other kind of things that just any of the other questions didn't seem to make sense to put in. And then of course they give you this opportunity to put your Goodreads into a link and validate it, and they will actually be able to look at your Goodreads too, of all the things you've read, what you want to read, what you've given stars to, what you've DNF'd. It's all there for them to look at. So that helps a lot too. I highly recommend, if you do have a Goodreads, you put it in. Okay, so that is the profile section. And so now I'm going to get into the actual recommendations. And they give you a little letter, and I want to go ahead and just read that real quick. And it also, as I'm going through the letter, it also is going to show you, or it's going to also explain why they picked 3 books for me, and they're going to explain separately on why they picked it for me. It said, "Hi Kiki, welcome to TBR. I'm so excited to talk books with you. I went all in on fantasy romance for you. It's one of my favorite genres to read. However, they're a bit different in tone and character types, demons, dragons, etc. I can't wait to hear what you think." So that's like the little starter. And then I get straight up into the first recommendation, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. I feel like I'm the last person to read this, but this is what it looks like, by Kimberly Lemmings. There it is. It's very cute. And she said, while other 2 recommendations feel a little bit more serious or darker in tone, this one features a rompy road trip. Cinnamon just wants to enjoy a night out. Instead, and as the title suggests, she winds up getting drunk and saving a demon named Fallon. Now Fallon wonders if Cinnamon could help him just a bit longer, namely to find the evil sorceress who enslaved him and his people and to kill her. What I've seen on Goodreads, it is a pretty like small book. It's not very long. Yeah, it's only, according to this, it's only 182 pages. So it's going to be a nice quick read, but a good start, I feel like, to it, because she says that she goes darker. It's more darker tones. So we'll see what that means. But the next one is called Phoenix Unbound by Grace Draven. And here's what that looks like. I have never seen this cover before, but it's also probably because it's fantasy and I usually don't hang out very much in fantasy. So I'm very excited, and this is what she said about it. She said, Grace Draven is one of my favorite fantasy writers. I will note that the series is pretty violent. Though some of her earlier stuff like Radiance and Master of Crows is a bit lighter, if those are more your bag, each year the village must give a tithe to the dangerous empire. However, the tithes, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, they've been sacrificing the same women for years due to an uncanny ability to survive the flames. When a gladiator witnesses her secret, she'll be tasked with not only rescuing herself, but him as well. Sounds very interesting. And then when I looked it up on Goodreads, it is a 431 page book, according to the ebook version, which I think is what everything I'm going to read is going to be probably on Kindle Unlimited. So, and just in hopes that if I do like it, I will buy the physical version of it. But if I don't like it, I don't have a copy of it, and I can just pretend it didn't happen. It's a bit of a bigger book, and the series is a Fallen Empire series, and there are 3 in the series. It is a trilogy. I want to go in as blind as I can so I don't get jaded. I'm not even looking at reviews or anything like that, just because I want to make sure I am making my own assumptions about something. Last one is A Promise of Darkness by Beck McMasters. This one right here. It's another one I have never seen before, and I can see why probably if I even did pick it up, I would never even consider it. These are the kind of book covers I usually just never go for. They're not my cup of tea. They are a little bit more the old school romance bodice ripping kind of cover, and I'm not a fan. I can see why I probably would never pick it up if I was on my own decision. So I'm glad. But she said that if you like your fantasy romance on a spicy side, I do. Thank you, Amanda. By the way, her name is Amanda. She's amazing. She probably won't ever watch this, but just in case. Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much for doing this for me. With a dose of courtly intrigue, reach for this one. McMaster also had a large backlist I am having a horrible time. McMasters also has a large backlist to peruse. When the Queen of Thorns validates an ancient treaty with the Prince of Evernight, she must pay the consequences. She must send one of her daughters to temporarily serve as a political prisoner in Evernight's court. I love a story where the main characters need to rely on their own wits and cunning to survive a situation in which she's way out of her league. And that's all she said. And then, of course, she said, happy reading, Amanda. Show you the 3 all together again. There they are. So this will be part of my March TBR, is these 3 books. I will keep you informed, and I will see how I feel about them. Yeah. So probably this next clip is me starting on that. So here we go. Hi. My first update. Because this is a novella, this is going to be my 100-page mark and my 50% mark, because I am officially, I don't have it with me, I don't know what I was trying to grab. I am officially at 63% and about 106 pages. So that's a fun thing about novellas, is doesn't really like my system very much. Right now doing, I'm trying not to show you everything. My sprints, I'm actually doing sprints. It's a learning curve for sure. I'm trying to figure it out. But it's kind of keeping me motivated. Trying to do also a reading journal as well, so I have a lot of that. But because I got the audiobook for it, I'm able to like do multiple things at once. What I'm thinking about it and the mid-placing of this, the mid section of this book. So far it's cute, it's good, it's very heavy on fantasy. It's about the whole adventuring thing, and it's kind of got like a D&D kind of feel where you're traveling and you're adventuring and you're killing things as you go, and then you just have like a demon who gets really turned on about the idea of her killing an alligator, and he calls it a giant lizard because he doesn't know what it's called. And things like that. It's just really cute. It's kind of also got the same vibe as Ice Planet Barbarians, which is, it's like the human with the non-human who doesn't understand anything, and so it's a lot of like her teaching him things like that. It's super cute. I think this is a really good start to my fantasy romance journey. Cinnamon is a very fun character to follow. Fallon is very interesting. Then all the side characters that they have met have been great. And obviously, as you can tell, like I'm into more character-driven stories. So, yeah, it's going good. It is a novella, so I don't doubt it that I will probably be giving you an update here soon. It's not really that hard to get through a novella, so, but I think the next two, it'll be nice because I'm going to enjoy this while I can, because I think the next two are going to be 400 to 300 pages, so yeah, enjoy it while I can. This is starting to feel like either a 4 or 3. 4 if it continues going as strong as it is right now. 3 if it starts dwindling down to just kind of being boring. We'll see. I'm thinking 4. 4 is looking real good right now. So that is my update, and I will probably see you here fairly soon. Okay. Hello, I am coming from my parents' or my mom's study, so that's why you're just seeing this amazing background right now. This definitely does not belong to me. If this belonged to me, it would be covered in nothing but my books, and that's just not what's happening. So, but I realized, well, I guess technically this still counts because, it was a novella that it really it went by quick. And so here I am gonna give you my final thoughts for the one time I got drunk and saved saved a demon. Liked it. I want to say I gave it, like, I think I actually gave it 4 stars, which is really good. And I definitely think I will be interested in trying some of the other in the series. I'm trying to like do this because my arm's already starting to hurt again, and I don't have my stand right now. Actually, you know what? I can maybe do this. There we go. Yeah, that works out a whole lot better. It's definitely 4 out of 5 stars. It was really good. I love that they just had this exclusivity of it being a person of color. So I'm really happy to see that. I thought that was so cool. I actually, for my reading journal, I already put pictures up. I found this amazing photo of this girl with like this bodice, like her boobs are just like hanging out, and I don't know, I think she's beautiful, and I think she's exactly what I expected Cinnamon to look like, and I don't know, it worked out perfectly. But yeah, I loved it. I love the characters. I love the story. I definitely do think it leaned a lot more towards like smutty, kind of sexy kind of chapters than it did actually the fantasy. But I did definitely get like the D&D vibe. I definitely got the mystical creature vibe because it was like mystical creatures versus humans in a sort of a way. But yeah, I really enjoyed it and I thought it was really good. On that note, I actually already got started on the second one, which is Phoenix Unbound by Grace Davin. I'm already actually at the 100-page mark just because I am doing this one a little later than I should have. So I'm just going to put it all together. This one is definitely leaning a lot more towards the fantasy than the romance at this point in time. And this, by the way, this is like 100 pages in. This is not 50% in. This is 100 pages in. So we're still got a lot of story left of Phoenix Unbound. But right now, as I'm speaking to you, it's a lot of like kind of she despises him, she curses him, he kind of like forced her to go on this journey with him, and he really didn't give her that much of a choice, kind of thing like that. So it's a lot of her cursing and going, I curse you, I hope nothing but bad things for you. And he goes, well, you better hope that doesn't happen while I'm with you because you need to go home and I'm the way you go home. So it's good. It's definitely got the enemies to lovers kind of vibe to it that I like. Again, it's leaning definitely more into fantasy, which is a little bit harder for me to like focus and concentrate. But I feel like I'm doing pretty okay. The story is also a lot darker than the one time I got drunk and saved a demon. That's very light. It's very like comic relief. It's funny, things like that. This one is definitely a darker theme, which at least I kind of going into knew because Amanda, my curator, definitely made sure I understood that this is one of Grace Davin's more dark kind of book series that she has. And if I wanted lighter, there are other Grace Davin book series that are a little bit on the lighter side, but because this is the one that she recommended for me, I felt like I had to give it a shot. I feel like if I'm looking at some of her Grace Davin's like reviews, it seems like she does lean a little bit more into YA. So I'm starting to think that maybe the reason why she didn't recommend one of Grace Davin's lighter ones is because it's YA, and maybe the curator could figure out that I'm not really a YA girl, new adult at best, and then so forth. So I feel like I definitely got heard with that, and that she really put that in consideration, or I'm just thinking too much into it. Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, and I hope to give you another update when I get to the 50% mark and tell you how it's going, and then also maybe give you a guesstimate on where I'm thinking in the rating meter. Hello, it is same location, so I'm getting through this book really fast. Also, I really wasn't that far from like the 50% mark. I think I was like at 34, 38, something like that percent last time I talked to you guys. So, but yes, I am here at the 50% mark of Phoenix Unbound. Still going good. I still feel like because it's so heavy on the fantasy portion of it, I do find myself like dazing in and out of it. But I don't think it's going to be a DNF. I think I am going to get through it. I think I am going to be able to power through. It's not like bad where I'm just like, I can't even do this, you know? So that's always a good sign. So, but with that, let's talk about my possible guesstimate on where I am thinking star-wise. I'm enjoying this story and how different it is from other stories that I read, and how I get that little bit of change. But I don't know if this is a part of a series. I don't know if I would want to ever continue with this series. I think I would be totally okay with getting Phoenix Unbound physically putting on my shelf, saying I read that, recommending it to people who might want something fantasy romance, but a little bit more heavy on the fantasy if they're more into fantasy. But I think I'm good. Like, I don't feel like I don't feel the need to, like, I have to get the other series done kind of situation. It's kind of the same way with Caravel. I really enjoyed Caravel. Am I saying that right? Anyways, I really enjoyed it, but I just don't feel like the need to finish the series. I could just have Caravel. There it is. I think that's it. On my shelf, and I feel good about it, you know? With star rating, I'm starting to feel like it's gonna probably be a 3-star. If something like really awesome happens, maybe a 4-star. I don't feel the need to like really go heavy into it or anything like that. Like lean into the series like I want to for right now. The one time I got drunk and saved a demon series, I think there's like 2 more of those. I think it's a trilogy and it's all standalones. These are also all standalones. I think that is it. I think I'm probably going to see you in a different location. I'm pretty sure of it. Talking to you about how I'm feeling about it all over at the end. And see if I am going to stick with the 3-star or if it's going to bump up to a 4. So we'll see. Okay, so it is, what is it today? The 7th of March, and it is 11:29 as of right now. I actually finished Phoenix Unbound last night, like super late last night. I want to say I gave it a like 2.5. Not bad, but I think it was a little too heavy on the fantasy for me. Not so really like focuses on it doesn't really focus too much on the romance part and a little bit more on the fantasy part. And unfortunately, I feel like I have to have like either, for me, I either have to have like a very heavy on the romance or a very equal part of fantasy and romance. I think that's why I like Crescent City. I think that's why I like Akatar, because they both are very fantasy romance, but they also focus heavily into the romance portion. It's also why I think that I enjoyed that one time I got drunk and saved a demon, because yes, there was the adventure part, and like I said, it had a lot of D&D kind of aspects to it, but there was definitely romance to keep me interested. This one definitely had romance. It was a very good enemies to lovers. They hated each other. She cursed him. All that fun stuff. And then slowly but surely fell in love. So if you are looking for a fantasy romance that is a little heavy on the fantasy, but also you love that enemies to lovers trope, and that's your vibe, I think you would love this. I think it's definitely something that you would enjoy. This is a darker story than what she's usually known for. I think she's also known for a lot of YA, which again, I feel like in past authors where that has been an issue, where I feel like I found out that they were a majority YA author and then kind of couldn't see in their writing the more adult writing, and I still felt like it was still like lingering into the YA. I think she was a good writer, and I don't think I ever felt the vibe of her being YA. So when I found out that some of her lighter stuff is YA, or from what I think I hear, if I'm not correct about this, please correct me down in the comments below. She definitely is a good writer. She's definitely a good storyteller, and I see why she loves writing about fantasy, because I think she's good at it. She's good at details and things like that. And there's a lot of action that happened, a lot of war kind of things that were happening, and I feel like I wasn't lost sometimes when it was like more actiony bits. I do sometimes find myself a little bit more lost or lose attention with her kind of writing and the way she used detailing. I definitely felt like I stayed like focused on what was being said, you know, and I definitely think that's a sign of a good writer. I definitely think that this is for someone, and I just don't think it's for me, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But on to my next and last book. Okay. A Promise of Darkness by Beck McMasters is my third and last book. I usually, like, right after I finish a book, I usually start it, but because it was so late in the night, I said I would not do it. And that also gave me a chance to actually update you guys on how I was feeling about Phoenix Unbound. This one I feel like has promise, because let me just do like the little synopsis for you. In a realm ruled by magic, the ruthless Queen of Thorn is determined to destroy her nemesis, the cursed Prince of Evernight. With war brewing between the bitter enemies, the prince forces Queen Adala, I don't know if I'm saying that correct. I might be putting a little bit too much Star Wars oomph into that name. I don't know. To uphold the ancient treaty, she will send one of her daughters to his court as a political hostage for 3 months. The queen insists it's perfect opportunity for the princess oh my gosh. See, this is another reason I just don't do fantasy. I can't say half the damn names in fantasy. Xvinian? Comment down below if I'm saying it correctly or not. I'm probably not. To end the war before it begins, but one look into Thiago's smoldering eyes and V knows she is no assassin. The more secrets she uncovers about the prince and his court, the more she begins to question her mother's motives. Who is the true enemy? The dark prince who threatens her heart, or the ruthless queen who will stop at nothing to destroy him? And when the curse threatens to shatter both courts, is her heart strong enough to break it? A fairy tale twist inspired by the Hades and Persephone myth. There's a lot to just like unpackage there. Well, first of all, the biggest thing of it all, it's definitely forced proximity. It's definitely I hate you and you're the enemy, but also I'm captured by you and I have nowhere to go, and now I have to like figure out how to do this on my own kind of situation. I love that. Then the little extra oomph, which is it is a Hades and Persephone twist retelling, which love it. You know how much I love Hades and Persephone. If you don't, I pretty much have read everything that involves Hades and Persephone. Actually, you know what? I probably shouldn't say that, because there's probably something out there that I haven't. I'm a big fan of Hades and Persephone. Let's just put it that way. Also, I don't think they mean it, but it does kind of give the vibe of something that I find familiar, which is, it's kind of giving ACOTAR vibes to me. And I know that some people are like cringing right now at that, because fantasy lovers don't really want to acknowledge every fantasy to be somewhat related to the most popular fantasy book, which is ACOTAR right now. And I'm sorry. But it does have that feeling of like, spoiler alert for Mist and Fury. I think that's the right one. The green cover one. when Reese has to make the deal with Feyre that every 3 months she has to, or not even, I don't even know if it's 3 months. I think it's like 2 weeks. But every whatever, she has to come to his realm, the Night Court, and it's like a deal because he saved her situation. And I kind of get that vibe a little bit, and because it's a familiar vibe, I definitely feel like this is going to be good. This is also a series, and from kind of just glimpsing at the synopsis of those, they are about the same two couples. They don't like go into a different couple or go into a different person's life or a different person's journey. It does seem like this is a continuation of this pairing. But I don't know if that is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing, just for the simple fact that I'm really hoping that this is not a cliffhanger ending where I am kind of forced to continue on with the series if I don't enjoy it. But it's still enough of an ending where if I want this one to be the one and only, I can still like be okay with that. I am going to probably get started on this book. I found the audiobook on Scribd, and I have the actual like text on KU. So both free, both amazing. I love this. I love when I can get both the audiobook and the text free. It's always a good day for me with my poor girl butt. But yeah, let me get into it, and I will see you when I am at the 100-page mark. Hi. It is a little bit later in the day. I kind of lied. I didn't start reading exactly after I finished that clip. I got a little bit into it, but not a lot. Sprints, I've been on sprints for the last couple hours. Technically, from what this is saying, it's saying 4 hours. I don't know if that is completely accurate. Guess it is. I'm planning on doing even more sprints. I got several people doing sprints tonight, so yay. I'm going to get yay, I want to get a lot of stuff done today. I am at the 100-page mark, and I am finding this to be surprisingly enjoyable. And when I say surprisingly, I don't mean like that in a sarcastic, like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm enjoying this kind of tone, as much as it's just like I'm shocked that I'm enjoying this so much. From the, I think I said it in a couple clips, from the cover, it just doesn't look like something I would ever pick up for myself. It's kind of got the old school romance cover kind of look to it, with Fabio, and he's holding her waist, and she's just like that, it's kind of got that vibe a little bit. Definitely is not something I would pick up for myself. But I am really, really enjoying this. I think it's been really fun. It is also a enemies to lovers. I guess that just kind of goes with the fantasy romance, that majority of it's gonna be probably enemies to lovers. Last time I got drunk and saved a demon wasn't very enemies to lovers. I mean, I guess it was enemies to lovers because she always had this idea about demons, because that's what her village has always told her about, how demons are evil. And then she finds out like they're actually not the bad guys kind of situation. So I guess it still holds up that I think majority is going to be enemies to lovers if you ever want to get into fantasy romance. I am really having fun with this. I'm having a really fun time. It's been a lot of tension. It's been a lot of like action, but not like too much action. Just a little bits and pieces of fantasy that like I feel like I can still understand. My only thing that I have to kind of complain about is kind of the reason why I really don't like fantasies. Well, there's two reasons I don't like fantasies usually, and that is the world building info dumping that happens in fantasies a lot, where I just feel like I can't relax while I read. And then the second thing is the names. The main girl character in this is Ivetka or something. Ivatka, or I'm not saying it correctly. And then the guy's name is Asiago or something like that. It's not the cheese, but it's something. It's like Ithiago or I can't. I just have a really hard time with fantasy names. And this is not anything different as well. I have the same issue when I play D&D with friends. They have all these beautiful, mystical, fantastical names. And I usually just go with like the name like Carl the Bard, you know, or Tiffany the Barbarian Goliath, or because it's easy for me. Kai, I use Kai a lot as D&D. But anyways, yeah, I don't do good with fantasy names at all. You know what? That's my only problem right now with this book, is I just don't know how to say their names correctly. And I'm listening to the audiobook, so it doesn't really actually be an issue because someone else is saying it for me, who is probably saying it correct. So I don't have to worry about that too much. There is a bunch of tension. There is like this whole reason he kind of wanted her. It's kind of got this vibe that he's got this alternative motive of why he wanted her. He wanted her to be the person that was like the hostage for the 3 months. And yeah, we don't know just yet if it's like a mate thing or if he just kind of like senses that that's the person who he's supposed to be like with, or I don't know. Obviously I know this is a HEA because there is multiple series with this couple, so I'm hoping that this is not a cliffhanger and they do end up together and it not be something where just like they keep not being together the whole series or something. I don't want to give you a star rating guesstimate just yet because I usually like to do that in the midway point of the 50% mark. I don't know, I can't because I'm using my phone, but I think from what I saw in the audiobook, I have about 4 hours and something minutes of the audiobook. And so obviously, even though this is like 375 something like that pages, I feel like this is a pretty quick read. The chapters are pretty like small, so it does feel like it kind of goes by a little, the pacing's a little bit quicker and you don't feel like you're drowning as much as like, I feel like it was one of the things with Phoenix Unbound is they had really long chapters, and I feel like because of that you do tend to like lose focus or something like that. So I appreciate the kind of shorter chapters as well. But looks like they just went back, the reading sprints that I'm watching right now, and I'm gonna get back into it, and I will see you when I hit the 50% mark. Hi. Okay, so sorry about my hair. I put my hair up in a ponytail for so long that my hair has just to show you, well, first of all, it's very unclean right now, but like how flat it is here versus how like just overly floofy it is over here. So yeah, I'm having a bad hair day. Get to the 50% mark, and I want to keep saying a touch of darkness, and I know it's not a touch of darkness, a promise of darkness. Still doing good. Still loving it. It has gotten a little bit more fantasy, but that's okay. I'm still understanding. A twist just happened where it's kind of just like a game changer of how the rest of the story is gonna go, which is fun. They're like Bane or Unsullied is what they're called, and they're like little like half fae, half beast things, and they talk like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. We're like, me pieces, oh princess, you know, they do like that. That's how the that's how the audiobook makes it sound like. And I think it's supposed to be like super scary and like it's got like, it's supposed to sound scary and gravelly, and Ellis sounds like it's just all the beasts have like lisps. And so every time that the audiobook narrator does the voice of any kind of beast or Bane or whatever they're called, I get a real big crack out of it. So there is that. So if we're gonna be talking about star rating and where I'm thinking and guesstimating on where I'm gonna be, where I'm gonna land, I'm thinking it's either going to be in a 3 to 4 star, which I think is great, because that means it probably is right now on the same level as One Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, which also means that the chances of me wanting to continue on with the series is a lot better than Phoenix Unbound, unfortunately. So far, really good. Again, like I said, I literally just as sprints were ending, I got to the 50% mark. A major plot twist just happened, which is definitely going to be a game changer. And the attraction, tension is definitely a part of it. And I obviously don't want to spoil it. So in case if anyone wants to read it themselves, I'm not spoiling anything for them. They can go and get it and enjoy it for themselves and experience it for themselves. But yeah, I guess I will see you when I am done, and I will give you my final judgment on if it ends up being a 3-star or a 4-star. It's looking like a 4-star though. And everything in here is animated, and it freaks me the hell out. I can't with this place. Hello. It's, even though it looks like nighttime, it's not. It is about, well, it's late afternoon. It's 4:07, but it's not dark outside. It is gross outside, so that's why it looks dark, I guess. Anyways, I have finished A Promise of Darkness, and I'm gonna give it a 3. A 3 out of 4. 3 out of 5, sorry. 3 out of 5. Which I don't think is bad. And I really honestly don't think that's me not saying that I won't continue on with the series. I am just not like desperate to continue the series like some other series I'm already a part of or doing or wanting to start or whatever. It's not improbable. It's not impossible. It could happen. I kind of put the off-campus series on the back burner for a pretty long time. And that just came back like last month. So nothing's impossible for me to continue on with the series. There is either 3 or 4 in the series. And it did end kind of in a cliffhanger kind of way where it does kind of like suck you in for the next book, but I'm good, I think. I still think 3 out of 5 is not bad at all. And if anything, I really did enjoy this, and I think this is probably my second favorite book that I did in this series. It wasn't as smutty as the curator made me think. There was like one love scene, but there was like a ton of tension, which I guess could be kind of considered a very sexy thing to do in books. When she mentioned how like, if you like your fantasy romance on the smutty side, then this is for you, kind of gave me a false statement. It continued to get a little heavy on the fantasy, but it wasn't like overly bad where it just was like, oh my god, what's happening all of a sudden. You never get lost. It's you know what a great way is calling it. It's like a basic beginner's fantasy, I think. So anyone who's beginning in fantasy, I think this is a great pick for you for sure. So yeah. And when it comes to just all around this video of how I'm feeling about all three of them, and the question that has begun this in the first place, which is, can I get into fantasy romance, and would I continue to read fantasy romance? And the answer is a big, loud yes. I definitely think this is opening doors for me to get into something other than just contemporary romance or things that just feels like it's the same thing over and over. I feel like this is a completely different genre of romance. I think that this has more excitement in it. I think it has a lot more plot driven, and I'm always willing and happy to have books that still have a like solid plot to it, even with a little bit of the smut on the side. Perfect. But yeah, I definitely think I could continue on. Actually, it's really funny. I just was logging out of my KU and all that stuff, and I couldn't help but notice that KU is now recommending a ton of fantasy romances to me now. And I'm now going, instead of being like where I was before, where I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm looking at these and going, ooh, this looks interesting. Ooh, this looks interesting. I wonder what this is about. So it's definitely changed my state of mind when I think about fantasy romance. It's still safe, but at the same time, I definitely do think it's a lot different from the romances I tend to lean towards. But yeah, I definitely think this was a success. Again, that website is mytbr.co. I highly recommend it. I think people who curate on this website does an amazing job. I think that they really do listen to your profile, and it's really about how and what you put on your profile. If you want something to lean into it, I would talk about it everywhere you possibly can. If there's stuff that you absolutely hate, make sure it's clear as day that is something you're just not interested in. And because I think of that, and I always highly recommend putting your Goodreads on there so they can see that and they can kind of check out what you want to read, what you have read, what your star rating is, your reviews, whatever. I think that also helps them a ton as well. So I highly recommend, if you do the website, connect your Goodreads, and they will actually have a little part in the bottom of the on your bottom of your profile where you can connect that. So I highly recommend that, and I would love to try to do this again. I did, instead of saying fantasy romance, I actually went more for like some kind of other subgenre romance, what gets recommended to me, and I'm really looking forward to it, as well as I have a couple more people who I think I want to get their 2 cents on what they think I should read and continue this on. My sister's coming into town. She might be really fun. My mom would be fun because my mom she knows I read romance, but I don't know if she knows I read like that kind of romance. So that'll be interesting. I also have another sister who I could definitely do this for. I got a friend coming in town in October. I would love to do this with her. I have so many ideas for this series and who can be next on picking my books for me for the week, and how I kind of want to also do the process of it. This was kind of a little bit different because it was a professional curator, so I have to now think of ways for me to be able to do that without confusing them too much. I think I'm thinking that maybe I'll do like subsections of it, like one from my physical TBR, one from Barnes and Noble, and like one from Amazon, or maybe Pango, or We also have this thing called Half Price Books. Maybe I can take them to Half Price Books and say, find me a book from here, because that's also a definite shot in the dark. You never know what you're gonna find. But yeah, I have so many ideas and I can't wait to share it with you guys, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. I really had a fun time doing this, and I definitely am going to do a lot more, maybe specific mytbr.co videos as well. Also said that you can do it whenever you want, and it's just like an extra 16 bucks. And I think you pay for like subscriptions like $49.99, something like that, or like something for a whole year. But yeah, if you just kind of whenever you want to do it, you can also just get one for like 16 bucks. They also have options to actually give books to you. I think they only do hardbacks though, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I think that's everything with mytbr.com. And I think that is everything about my experience. A professional recommending my books for me for the week. I definitely think I found a love that I can hold hands with. And I think I'll be reading a lot more fantasy romance for sure. So, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. And if you like me. And I will see you guys later. Bye!